Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready for some boom, baby? Boom! Rise and shine. Damn it, Finland. It's time for springtime. You can already see it in the trees. That's a real Christmas tree. People over here playing tennis in their jeans. And it's still wet outside. It's only 10 degrees, if not a little bit less. And as you can see, there's not even a flag. This is my new place. Your boy Marky Saints Addiction. I got a mission to reach, preach, and teach every morning. And I got myself a new place. Right. I had this whole ass place to myself with that whole ass, and I'm barely using any of it, including the walk-through closet, right? The whole big ass queen size bed by myself, nice ass kitchen, and a tiny ass bathroom. That's what I'm saying. This is the morning marijuana motivation. I mean, I can't even fit in here. Like, I've been squeezed in here this morning. Like, let's brush my teeth. Wait, no, let me bend down. No, wait. Like, switch around. Hold on. Let's get between. Oh, wait. I'm literally as wide as the shower grid here. Look how tiny this is, bro. I haven't seen anything since, like, this tiny since Hong Kong. This is some Hong Kong shit, you know, where you create your own. Like, have you ever seen a shower like this? Like, touching the toilet, touching the sink? Well, anyway, it's got its own private. Come on, bitch, move out the way. It's got its own private sauna, right? And everybody's supposed to be in on it. Perfect little spot for some tiny shit to happen. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know why this bucket's in here, but okay. And yeah, little tiny sauna, personal sauna. I'm gonna get in on this and take one maybe today if I learn how to, you know how to do it. If you know how to do these things. All right, let's put this down here so I don't have to step over it. Let's make it happen, Captain, and get out of it, because I would fall out. Most definitely. So this seems to be nasty. This is where she swept everything. I'm sure of it. It even had a shit stain right here I had to clean up. I don't know. Anyway, so got the laundry going. Morning motivation. Let's change the programming before we roll this joint. Let's do some work, because I don't talk about it. I be about it. And these are the Saints Addiction shorts, baby. No one else has got them. Match them if you got them. This is my life by design. I said this is still my birthday. Day 2, day 3 after my birthday of wanting to get my mind right to change the business. You know, to change the programming. Every year, I look at what I've been doing and seeing how I can move things forward. What teammates are working hard or argumentative. Had that argument conversation last night. And it was funny because I had fired him up because he needed to be fired up and showed up like, yo, bro, change the programming. You can't be over here talking about, are we moving forward, when you did no follow-up, you know? You can't be talking about, I want a better life, when you're consistently doing the same things. And this was shocking to me, you know, being with my friend yesterday, and he started getting withdrawals, and I was just like, holy shit, how do you feel? You know what I mean? Like, are you all right? You know what I mean? And it turns out not so okay. You know, not so okay when you can't stop yourself from shaking. Not so okay when life is asking you to let me borrow some money. He has to borrow some money for some beer, and knowing damn well I don't drink. And I just looked at him like, really, bro? Really? And sure as shit, he went straight to the fucking place, recycled all his cans, and found a beer. And I'm like, I said day 1 or one day you decide, and here it's making you shake, making you feel uneasy. It's probably not your amigo, you know? And you double down on it and use it again. You're going back to your ex-boyfriend. You're going back to your ex patterns. You know what I mean? Like, every one of us is got a decision to make. And we keep making the same decision, and we don't call it programming. It's like, well, that's your program. I can count on you to do the same thing you're gonna do every time. Also, Why is it so hard for us to change that programming? What makes it so uneasy to be sober or handle the withdrawals or handle the shakes long enough for us to heal ourselves from alcohol poisoning or repetitive programming or any of the other shit that we do to ourselves? Why is it so difficult for our bodies to stop doing these hurtful things that we do to ourselves? And it just turns out it's because it's withdrawals, right? Our pain is too much for us to endure. That's why it's the book Endure, that we don't want to get pissed enough to miss the bus. We don't want to sit there and go, you know what, day one, not one day, I'm going to make it happen today, and I don't want it ever to hurt me again. This is a big thing, to sit there long enough with yourself and stare at the cigarette and say, it's going to be you or is it going to be me? You know, am I going to get burnt up or are you going to get burnt up? This is really the question of our lives. And most of us don't want to have that conversation because it's a difficult conversation to have that requires change. And change seems to be more painful than it has to be. Like most of us, we make it a painful process instead of easy, right? Like we won't even let people come into a parking spot. We want to be so in control and not in control of ourselves, but in control of the parking spot, or in control of the speed of the person that's behind us, or in control of a position at work. But self-control? Oh no, dude, I don't want to have any of that, you know? God forbid that I actually have control over myself and not let something else come and fuck me up, you know? And how many times do we let something else come fuck us up? All the time. I'm telling you right now, all the time. We let something come into our world where we go, okay, you'll be the master. You know, beer, be my master, or this girl, be my master, or this drug, be my master, teach me how to be, instead of me saying, I want my life to be this way. I can visualize myself as a man that's traveled the world, lost the weight, and wears his clothes, right? Matching mentality. This happened because this is my life by design. I said, if I give up these things, right? You have to make a deal with the devil or yourself, you know, for what do I want the most, right? And it turns out you probably want more time with your loved ones. You probably want more time with love, right? You're sick of being lonely, so you start drinking again, and then now it creates the cycle again. The only people you hang out with are bartenders, and they're only there for their wealth, not your health. You know what I mean? And then it's also makes you more lonelier because the people around you, right? They don't give a shit. Oh man, my shirt did get stained. All right, this is the new work shirt. Yeah. I went out into this is what happens when you work. You know, you might get a couple shirts, but that's all right. I'll make another one. I'll just use that as like a work shirt, you know? But most people, they don't know. They don't know that they're shaking while they're talking to me while I'm making their logo, you know? They don't know that they are coming off sideways because they're grumpy because they have a hangover. They don't know that they're depleting their serotonin, dopamine, and what's the other things? All of it, bro. They just don't know. And because they don't know, they stay uninformed. And then you just feel like, oh, well, I feel good, right? I feel good with chocolate, sex, and weed. I feel good when I swallow alcohol or I have cocaine in my pocket. It's guaranteed happiness. And I'm here to tell you at Saints Addiction, right? That's not real happiness. Because I'm addicted to happiness. If it was real happiness, I would have already pushed you out of the way, knocked you out, and done snorted it. But that's not it. It's just not it. Not it. You know, as we said as kids, not it. You know, when we were kids, not it. You know, that's not it. Let me put this away real quick. You know? Yeah, that's simply put, that's not it. And all of us are trying to look for it, and we're wondering why it keeps missing us. It's because it's not there. It's not there for us to find it behind a substance, or find it behind a feeling, or find it even behind an accomplishment, right? Those things are always chasing something, right? Hoping that the source is outside of us instead of the compass being the direction inside of us. That's the real, oh, I have the power. You know what I mean? I have the power to determine my mood. Maybe I don't have the power to determine nature and the weather. Bitch needs to pick a mood, by the way. You know, that's not in my control, but my perspective is, my habits are, and they all been little secret agreements that you made within yourself that you just be like, okay, well, when I was smoking weed, I distinctly remember having a long conversation with myself, like, if I make this a habit, do I lose my health? Do I lose my teeth? What do I lose? Do I lose some of my memories? And being a genius that I am, do I really want to lose some memories that I have up here? Like, okay, you can smoke weed the rest of your life, but you'll forget Machu Picchu. I don't want to make that deal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make that deal at all. And there's some deals out there that need to be made, bro. You get what I mean? There's some deals that need to get made. Let me grab the rest of these clothes. Yep. There's some deals that need to be made, and there's secret contracts in our lives or in our minds that we didn't know that we made. I was listening to Napoleon Hill last night before I fell asleep, and he's like, these little whispers are our excuses, right? That we already like let it whisper in our ear and tell us what's going to happen instead of us saying, I'm going to make it happen, Captain. I want this out of my life. I want it to happen just this way and no other way. Then boom, guess what? That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to have. But most of us, nah, man, we're just going to I don't feel right today. So instead, I'm just going to waste the day, throw back a couple more beers like I did yesterday, make sure the pattern stays. Yep. Bubbles. Make sure the pattern stays and everything remains the same. And then you fought for your addiction. You fought for your pattern. You didn't do anything different. And therefore, nothing changes. If nothing changes, nothing changes. I have this conversation often with people. You got to reach inside yourself and say, no more. I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to feel this way. Right? Like, I want to feel something different. Imagine that. Like, I'm not okay with the way that things are going. I get sick enough to miss the bus. I'm the one that keeps missing the bus, but I'm not the one that wants to get up, right? Like, you'll have to change something. Yeah, you'll have to change something to get some change or ask for some change. A lot of people do that, like my did yesterday. I'm a traveler. I'm the traveler, and he's asking me for money. Like, bro, don't tax me. I'm your friend. You don't tax your friends because you're never going to get that $20 back, 20 euros back, and then you'll take offense. Yeah. And who wants to argue with that? I know I don't. You know what I mean? I don't want to argue with somebody over, hey, remember the $20 that you wanted really, really bad, but you didn't want to change really, really bad? Yeah, I think so. I think not. How about that? How many of us are like that? We'll be like, I promise you one hamburger, two hamburgers tomorrow if you give me one hamburger today. I'm like, no, you just risked our whole relationship because now I'm going to get pissed that you didn't pay back, and now you're not a man of your word. I already knew that because you won't even quit drinking or to save yourself, let alone save me or pay me back, right? That will never happen. So once again, alcohol puts your relationships on the chopping block, right? Or weed, if you smell like it, might not get you the business deal because people judge, right? And they're all hypocrites too, right? Like, promise you somebody's doing something, your best friend's doing porno or your mom likes to snort a couple lines, or you know what I mean? Like, everyone has an addiction. Saints Addiction on a mission. Have this conversation with people to say, hey man, let's wake up a little bit. Let's look at ourselves in the morning a little bit, brush the teeth with the left hand, have the fucking conversation. So where's this headed? Now I'm 45, it's not like, oh, just keep going on with my life. No, dude, it's like, I got some shit to change, bro. I got to get this Intersect.ai up. I had a long conversation, about a half-hour meeting with the boys after my birthday. Like, what's going on with the emails? What's going on with the social media? What's going on with the post? What's going on with my YouTube? It's a reevaluation. And this is why it's changing the programming, is because you have to reevaluate what you're programming yourself with. It's such a huge advantage to sit there and go, okay, maybe that's not for me. Maybe I need, something better than what I've been giving or pre-programming myself with. What is this one? Oh, these are my shorts. Okay, cool. I was like, what the fuck? And that's it. You know, I mean, it's a hard conversation to have, and that's why I start off every morning talking about addictions and patterns. Because if you do it today, or if you don't do it today, I guess, right? You know, I mean, if you don't deal with it today, you'll never deal with it. It's such a monster on your back to say, now I give all my time to this drug or this pattern or this behavior. And then it's even stronger when you get to concentrate on you made a decision about your behavior, right? These silent decisions, like Napoleon Hill kept saying, you know, these little whispers, I guess you can call it your inner voice, your compass, your Jiminy Cricket, however you want to call it. You know, these are your automatic negative thoughts. These are your excuses. These are the way that you slowly let off the pain from knowing how much control you have of yourself. So there's painfulness to say that I don't have self-control. And then there's also some pain to the feeling when you're let me grab this real quick. When you're trying to change a pattern, your body might actually work against you, right? Our bodies are weird like that. Well, they might actually try to fight against the rolling of the tide, right? They might just say, well, hey, you know, we are so addicted to our, this is why it's an addiction, is because we don't add any other emotion to it. It's like, this is our pattern and we stick to it very repetitively. Human beings are just fucking like that, man. I don't know what else to say about that. That one's like a weird awakening in itself, right? Like that, like, why are we so chained to our patterns? Why are we so repetitive? What makes us the same type of monkey to go to the same tree and eat the same fruit? And it just turns out that we think that we're slick. We do. We think that we're slick, that we're fooling everyone else by, I don't know, spraying on some shit after we smoke some weed or smoke a cigarette, or am I clean under my nose so no one notices, you know? Like, you got to notice. This is the point of change programming. You got to notice the change in yourself, you know? It takes 265 years to have a new pattern, but nobody wants to go to the gym and keep working out. My friend just had a grandbaby. I saw her post it, Audrey and them, and she's like, grandma needs to stay in shape. And the next day she's at the fucking gym. She's complete gym addict, you know what I mean? With the fake eyelashes and the fake tits, and I'm so fit, I'm trying to be 20 again. You're a grandmother, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much we're gonna do with this, but you know, that's all of us. That's literally all of us. I gotta get these pants sewn. That's literally all of us drilling holes in our canoe, hoping no one else notices but you. Yeah, that. The one thing that I did do is I changed my hair. Most girls do that. They'll change their hair, but they won't change their attitude, right? And you're just like, wrong change, bro. We need some real change around here, and the real change is inside you. You know that you're not acting like yourself anymore. You know that you can't just run back to alcohol because someone said, "What are you, a pussy?" No, bro, you just won't like me. I told him that, bro. And then I'm like, I'm not a pussy. You're a douchebag. And that's what he didn't see, that he can't be a boss till he changes his attitude because he's too grumpy. No one's going to follow somebody that's demeaning or talk shit or makes you feel like a pussy. That's not how bosses do. You won't have any workers for long, right? You know, no one's going to follow you unless you can control yourself. And most people don't have self-control. They have no idea what's happening with them and why it's happening to them. They're just a bunch of lost souls. And I don't want to be a lost soul. Not over here at Saints Addiction. Not on this life. No, sir, no, ma'am. That ain't happening. So you got to say to yourself what you allow to happen. Really, let's make it happen, Captain, or allow it to happen. Because now you're going to be out of control because you gave all your control to something else. So you were just like, yeah, I wanted to go and say hi to my little boyfriend or bartender boyfriend, but then I showed up drunk, and then I got more drunk. And what's worse than trying to get undrunk? Right, bro. Have you ever tried getting undrunk? It's addiction, baby. These shorts are so dope. Look at your boy. I made these shorts. These are samurai shorts. They're from 13th century Japan. This was Tokugawa fighting some of the warriors in ancient Japan. So I got samurai shorts, Saints Addiction shirts. They're matching this. I put this here, and then it kind of came around. I guess I gotta show my ass. But like right here on the logo, can you see it? I don't know. You know what I'm doing, bro. I'm doing the best that I can, and that's what made all the advantages. You know what I mean? It takes one to know one. Saint slides, Saint shirts, Saints Addiction shorts, right, bro? I was like, this isn't just like I ordered it off of Amazon. No, man, I had to design it. And I sat there before it happened. When you're in creation, right? All of us get to create something, right? And then you go from just somebody that's masturbating to creating, or somebody that's drinking to writing. You know what I mean? How many what's the guy's name that I'm thinking of? Your boy Ernest Hemingway's. You know, how many Ernest Hemingway's books would have been written if he didn't kill himself after a lobotomy and alcohol? Right. You know, what dreams may come if you don't get in the way of your own self. Right. And how awesome would it be if you didn't have fear interrupting every fucking thing? You know, like I don't have enough money. I'm too old. What's the other ones motherfuckers be telling themselves, bro? Whatever bullshit you keep telling yourself, it's time for reprogramming. It's time for a new channel. It's time for a new outcome. And this is why I have these conversations with people, because I changed my world, bro. I'm sitting here in fucking big ass Finland. My words are echoing off the walls. There's nothing here but the backpacks that I sell, right? I'm gonna roll me a little joint for the morning motivation, but dude, bro, I want you to have it. I want you to be able to lift up your shirt and be okay with the little bit of fat around you, because I lost the weight, bro. I lost the weight, bro. I'm not perfect. This ain't a fucking, what is it, Men's Fitness magazine shoot? No, I used to be like that. Like, so unhappy that I didn't look like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not 6'7" with 6-pack abs and 6 to 7 figure income. I would be cracked, bro. I would sit there and just be like, I'm not like that. Instead of, well, am I the best version of myself? Just asking. Am I really doing the best that I can do? Big question. That's a big fucking question nobody wants to ask, because they'll be shocked by the answer. They know they can do better. And that's the whisper. That's the whisper. That's the contract that we all have in our lives. Something reverberates inside of our brains or in our lives and says, am I doing the best by me? Am I making the best decisions? Is this my best emotion? What can I do to be better version of me? And you know what it is? Because you know you more than anybody. That's the worst part. This is a whole secret conversation that you have with yourself every morning. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to feel? Where am I going to go? These are all of us just whispering to ourselves, what are we capable of? And it turns out we're capable of a fuck ton of a lot, especially when you start putting like grandbabies in there, right? People change because of their children. They have something bigger to live for. And that's what my homeboy said at the cabin this weekend. He was just like, you need something a little bit bigger than yourself. You know what I mean? You need something that's got more energy, more creativity, more dream than what you already have in your head at the same time, right? So how many of us trade one dream, like let's say children, for like, let's say fake breasts? Okay. How many of us have